Anyway, we're not here to discuss that. We have three, but we're always capable, we're always very pleased to discuss it, but we have three very interesting speakers tonight, and we try on these speaker events, which is every month, to have as diverse a lot of speakers as we can. But I was thinking on the tube on the way in that they're not all that diverse at all. All three are talking about corruption of the state and corruption in general. So, you know, there is links which I hadn't intended, you know. Anyway, each one will be 20 minutes and we will have a half an hour's, at the end, we will have a half an hour's question and answer for all three. And then after that, we will have a bit of a social, someone late at the door.
No.
Oh no, it is fun. Yeah. After that, we will have a bit of a social, a wine and nibbles, and unless someone brings in a couple of more bottles of wine, you better grab it quick because we've only got 4 bottles at the moment. The whole idea is supposed to be a relaxed evening, so we'll get on with it now. The first speaker is from the Mexican Solidarity Campaign. Well, actually, we did get 2 for the price of 1 tonight. And on the current human rights crisis in Mexico, there's actually a bit in the Evening Standard about it tonight, I noticed, which is amazing. And that situation about the young students. And also this year's relationship and alliance between the UK and Mexico. So they know more about this than I do, so they can do the talking. So off you go.
Well, thank you very much for this space. We always really value every time they offer us a place to talk and speak out the truth, our truth, the truth of the Mexican people. Because sometimes we feel the responsibility as well as Mexicans in the UK or abroad to give people the other version of what's happening back home. And well, we are a group of activists. I don't know if you have been aware about some protests that we have been doing in front of the Mexican embassy or actions in order to visibilize, to raise awareness about the situation of the 43 students of Ayotzinapa. We're all activists from different, we do other stuff, so this is what we do with our hearts. And well, first we're going to talk indeed about the situation of Ayotzinapa, which is why Mexico has been so heard a lot in the news or sometimes mainstream media.
Sus nombres.
Pardon?
Sus nombres.
Our names.
Sus nombres.
What are your names?
¿Cómo se llama?
For security reasons, we would prefer not.
We prefer it to present
the group is more important.
Yeah, I think we prefer always to present ourselves as a collective of activists, because in this situation we rather feel that we belong to a group rather than talking as individuals. And but yeah, of course I can introduce myself with you with some wine afterwards. And we're going to talk about the human rights crisis in Mexico currently going on, and Ayotzinapa is just the tip of the iceberg of something that has been going on since decades ago. And how is it been going on, the situation with the investigations? And as Neil mentioned today, it appeared in the Evening Standard. So we want to unpack a little bit the truth also about what appeared recently in the news. And Marisa is going to say also a little bit a message of one of the survivors of the attack against the students. And afterwards we will talk about the alliance of UK and Mexico, because this year it's very relevant in this country as well, because it's considered the year of Mexico in the UK and UK in Mexico. So that involves you, all British people as well. So we're going to start with a brief video, so you can see, this is from Monday. Monday we had a global action for Ayotzinapa, and after, because of the 4 months of the students that have been disappeared. I think it's mute.
Long.
This meat, no? It's
Right down the bottom
okay.
corner, this one, the sound bar.
No, right on the very bottom right of the screen. You can see it from here. I can't see without my glasses.
Ya que se acaba.
Ah, es que no sé, no lo ven bien.
Sí, pasa.
If you drag the thing up.
So just briefly, this is just in Mexico City, so you can see what is the common feeling today, just 2 days ago in Mexico. And not only Mexico, we're also making demonstrations outside. In this protest was replicated in other countries, such as here in the UK. It was also in Belgium, in Spain, in many other places, United States, in different cities all around Mexico. So you can, so in order for you to also feel what are we Mexicans feeling today.
So you want to put it again?
Yes, yes. Shall we put it again with the noise?
Just put the speakers on. Try again.
You were able
Yeah,
to
yeah.
leave it.
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh, well. Okay, well, it gives a little impression of what's happening in Mexico now. I don't know how much you know, and probably, anyway, I'm going to go a little bit back on who they are and what does it mean Ayotzinapa. I mean, it sounds like a more original name. It is. It is a very, very, very small town in the mountains, very poor, farmers, and since the 1930s they started these kind of rural schools for teacher schools. So people who go to these schools, it's a state school, and people who go to these schools are also farmers. They have to be children of farmers from low-income families, and they see this as a way of becoming, having some stable income and working with the children, teaching other children as they were helped at once. And this is a place where they stay for the whole time. They only leave for holidays and things like that. And so this school has always been on the left side of the political scheme, and it's no surprise if you come from a poor background. I cannot imagine, talking about neoliberalism or things like that. So this being the background of the school, lefties, they have images of Che Guevara, famous people have come out from this school, even though it's a very, very small school. This place, which is in Guerrero, which is just irony, the name of Guerrero is warrior. That's the state south of Mexico. It's not far from Mexico City. It's about 1 hour and a half drive getting to this place. So these students left their town on a Friday, the 26th of September 2014, to get buses, something that they do, which is not legal, of course, to get some buses to go later to Mexico City. That would be the week after, for the commemoration of the 2nd of October. In 1968, there were hundreds of students killed in Mexico City. 68 was a very a year of student movements. But in Mexico we had that too. So that was the purpose, to get money, because the government is taking all the money to the schools. So they need money, they don't have money, they don't have buses to go to the schools where they are supposed to give practices. Anyway, they were there, that was the first time. Some of them, they were all from the first year. They were there going to Iguala. They were kept. It's a very, very confusing situation. They were in buses, and they started to be followed by the army. And there are proof of this. There are many journalists, especially Anabel Hernandez, who has all the proofs of the army following the buses. There is a first confrontation with the police. They have no weapons, and there are already 2 killed, and 1 very, very badly injured. They are confronted for a second time. They try, the students, they try to spread, some people help them and hide them, but they also try to go to the hospital. They are not helped by the hospital. The army arrives in the hospital and says, you are not going to be helped, and you are, because you behave badly, you have to go home, and we are not going to help you. Later, they take a larger amount, they think a larger amount than the 43, that's what later we discovered. That was on the evening of the 26th. The morning after, one of them appears without, they have taken the face and the eyes. This was the first thing. Sorry I have to tell you this, but this is the reality. This is what people dare to say. Can you imagine the kind of inhumanity they can have to do this? So we don't know anything further. After 2 or 3 days, we discovered there are 43 of them who have been disappeared. There are videos where we see them going through the streets of this town, Iguala, and in the police cars. You know, they are. So the difference of this situation is that they are students. They are between about 17 and 23 years old. They were on the first year. They are son of farmers. They want to help other children to learn. Very, very, very sad. But that doesn't take away that there have been, there are 22,000 kidnapped or disappeared, as they call it, by who knows, since Peña Nieto is in power. And there are also quite a number, 70,000 abducted immigrants who try to cross going to the United States. These are different numbers because of different legal reasons, but these are solid numbers. This is even the government is talking about these numbers. So the 43 students disappeared, shot by the police, taken by the police, not helped by the army, who was in front of them, like a half kilometer. There were shootings in 2 occasions. They were already journalists. They had to run away. There is one who appears the day after, and later we don't know anything about it. 2 days later, the mayor of this city just asked for permission to leave, and they give permission to leave. When everybody was already talking about that, he was the one who had asked them to be kidnapped, killed, whatever, and his wife. She also asked for permission because women the partners, the women get these kind of jobs when their husbands have political positions. And she also asked for permission, and they also give it. So they leave. At that moment, the Procurador General, have you seen?
General Attorney.
The General Attorney says, "Oh, I told you, you should have taken care." That's all we hear. The President, we don't hear anything from him for 9 days. And it's only to say, oh yeah, by the way, this happened. I mean, can you imagine here in any place in Europe. 43 students disappeared, taken by the police, and the president or prime minister or king or queen not saying a thing for 9 days. And only 20 days after, he said some kind of empathic thing, which is a guy who really doesn't, he doesn't know how to say things that are empathetic. And the investigation had been extremely slow, because they only took, the Mexican government only took it like 2 or 3 weeks after this happened. So all they left in the hands of the people of the politicians and the police from Guerrero, those who were guilty. And it's the collusion of, they've been talking about the organized crime, which is they're called the Guerreros, irony again, the Guerreros and the Rojos and the mayor of the city and the police. They've been all the time together. And now what they're trying to say, it's actually the guilt of the students, that they've disappeared, and they are trying to close the case, the investigation. So considering these numbers, and for example, that there's been, this is a different number, this 98 journalists killed in the last 4 years. This is a little bit more than Peña Nieto. Just 1 week ago, I mean, no, actually 3-4 days ago, there was the last one. That was taken by, apparently also by a mayor of this little town. He was taken from his home in three people in 3 cars came to take him out from his home. 2 weeks later, he appears dead. And there's been about 125 mass graves, hidden mass graves in the last 2 years, and most of them since the disappearance of the 43 students from Ayotzinapa. I just want you to tell you how this is a symbolic thing. You know, people say, why too much attention for them? It's because we have the evidence that this is what happened, and it's a very, very sad situation for Mexico, and it's the moment when people start doing things more than ever. There is a lot of solidarity between all classes and city people and town people and all the provinces and the small towns. So it's, and we are really, what they call it, fed up. You know, the hashtag Ya me cansé, which is I'm fed up or I'm tired, has been a top tag in Mexico and world for about 3 or 4 weeks. And this is, you don't get it just by nothing. Mexicans are really tired of this. And I think now is the moment for it.
So as you see, this is a context of what is happening in Mexico with no drama. This is just how it is, and it's just, Ayotzinapa is very symbolic for all of us, because it's just the tip. It's showing the tip of the iceberg of the collusion of the government with criminal gangs. When they don't like something, they just get rid of this. The Mexican society has lost complete confidence on any political party. Some elections are coming this year. So it's going to be very interesting. Actually, the families of the students are calling for boycotting the elections, because voting for any party is voting for a terror state. However, well, it's important, I think, to acknowledge that this is not an isolated issue, just in Mexico occurring there in this place in Latin America. No, it also links to the UK, especially this year, because this year is considered the year of Mexico in the UK, UK in the Mexico Alliance 2015. After 77 years that the oil was nationalized, last year Peña Nieto decided to privatize it. So you have, UK has really important companies, oil companies, many of them such as BP, which previously there was a spill in Mexico, in the Mexican Gulf. We have Shell, or also we have the security sector, which some business are taking advantage. No, business are taking now advantage of the tragedy of the Mexican community. This is how I see it. Now in the security sector, they are also doing some agreements with enterprises such as Biosystems. Biosystems, which you know, it's from the UK and it's one of the top 10 in the whole world producing arms and all these things for war. And what the thing here in the alliance between Mexico and the UK is that they are acknowledging culture, art, education, and trade and investment. No, last year 40 different companies from Great Britain went to Mexico to see what business could they do there. But there is nothing in the agenda about human rights. So when the situation is that we're very outraged because it's not only about talking of a criminal government, but also it's legitimizing this criminal government and kind of making a blind eye of the crisis, and that these guns actually sometimes are used by the same institutions that are supposed to protect us, such as the military and the police, in order to kill and repress Mexicans. So I think it's important to take this into consideration, and even more because Peña Nieto, the president of Mexico, has been invited to come to the UK, and he has been invited to stay at the Buckingham Palace from the 3rd to the 5th of March. I'm aware that this type of invitations, they only make it to 2 persons every year, and the other person they still they don't say, but Peña Nieto is the main one, and this was called last year in November. They make it public that he received this direct invitation by the Crown. He's going to be here from the 3rd to the 5th, and of course we know that it's a matter of business and a matter of capital that they are caring about, and that we feel, the Mexican community feels really alone. We feel that we don't have any support not from our government. I wish we could have the support from this government as well in order to acknowledge the human rights crisis that we're passing right now. And as you said, people are, you saw it, this was just 2 days ago. The demonstrations we do here, maybe we can see less people because we're less Mexicans here, but we feel all outraged. So I think that it's important just to mention that all these crises and all these crimes and international Amnesty International has also stated that in these crimes, the government, military, the police has been involved in all the levels, and the head of the state must be responsible as well. So Ayotzinapa is just one case that can be considered as a crime against humanity. So I think if you can also embrace us, maybe the governments will just care about money, but if you as British society could also embrace us in our fight, that would mean a lot, because this year is crucial also to enforce this alliance and relationship between Mexico and the UK, yes, but why not doing it from the very base, from the society? And well, I think that's everything. If you have further questions later on, you can let us know. And yeah, so please join us. We are going to be strong in here, doing demonstrations as well, because of this invitation to the Queen, which we feel it as a slap in our face, because this is not fair, because we want justice, because they took them alive, so we want them alive. Not only the 43, but all these people. So thank you very much.
Thanks for that, and I'm sure you'll have loads of questions at the end, and they'll be around to talk to if it's more over the time. By the way, I should have asked you, if there's anybody here a bit shy, there's 2 cameras filming, so maybe sit at the back or something. If you don't want to be filmed, well, you won't be filmed, you know. So. But I don't see any reason to be shy. Our next speaker, and I've got to keep talking for a minute or two while they're switching the computer. Our next speaker is Raul. He's the information officer of the Hunt Saboteurs and a co-founder of the association, co-founder of the Hunt Saboteurs Global Networks. I first met him at the Christmas Without Cruelty fair in Kensington Town Hall before Christmas, and which we have the Green Party have a stall every year, I think for about the last 15 years. It's a lovely social to go to. And How's it going?
So I want to sit there.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Right, Raoul, sorry. I have no idea. Rosemary, where are you? She's about the only one that I know. It is warmer than usual tonight. It's usually cold here. Yeah, we'll keep this door open as well. So,
Give yourself some space for reading. You were seeing it all.
okay.
No, because they have the doors of the car park.
Maybe we could, yeah.
Let's keep the heat we have.